Imagine you make it all the way to the end of a challenge season, killing the challenges and dominating politically, only to have a devastating loss. I would hate that too. Today we are going to be looking at the top 10 most heartbreaking challenge losses. Yeah, not you, Polly. I am doing individual people for this list because while it may be heartbreaking to see CT lose on Rivals, it was not heartbreaking to watch Adam lose. If you don't agree with me or I'm missing anyone, please let me know in the comments below, and who knows, maybe I'm saving some for a follow-up.
So I'm going to go ahead and take the money and run, Teach.
Starting at number 10, we have Wes on Battle of the Exes 2. I have him at number 10 for a few reasons. First, let's start with the good. This is by far Wes's best political season, and I'm not sure it is even close. Wes started the season off like he always does, grabbing the rookies to be on his side and build his army against Bananas. Wes successfully got out Bananas this season, killed the daily challenges, and got his way out of sticky political situations. One thing Wes did not expect was for people to compare notes. Wes made too many deals and promises he couldn't cash, and that was his downfall, along with Bananas coming back into the game. This is what killed Wes. Right when Bananas came back in the game, it was over for him. Wes had no one and failed miserably at the daily he needed to save himself. He went to the second to last elimination, which was Hall Brawl, and really just injured himself, which was hard to watch. Another big reason this was heartbreaking was because it seemed like everyone on this season got a second chance except for Wes. Even his partner Teresa lucked her way back in.
I have played a perfect game.
In a matter of 36 hours, they went from having the entire house to going home.
At number 9, we have CT on the Duel 1. I chose to include this one because of his sheer dominance and heart this season. First of all, we all saw a side we have never seen of him in his relationship with Diem, which was a pleasure to watch. CT also won 3 dailies and 1 elimination. CT was so feared this season it was crazy. His loss was heartbreaking because first of all, Jody screwed him in the Paddle Me daily, leaving him behind, which sent him into elimination in what was a complete blowout in CT's favor, but a stupid technicality sent him home on a season he was a shoo-in to win. Push Me is such a flawed elimination, and it was just so hard to watch.
He's a bone rack. He's got no legs. My stamina, I'm bigger, I'm stronger. Go! Get over it! Oh, no, I got it! Instead of unhooking the carabiner, rips the flag out of the ground.
That's the only way you're gonna beat me? I'm the best kid here, and all you know it.
But it didn't work out for you, bro. Handle it.
What are you doing? Kill you, you know? Just get me out of here, T. Get me out of here before I explode. All right.
At number 8, we have Landon on the Duel 2. And this is very similar to CT in the way where Landon completely had this season on lockdown. He won 5 challenges and 1 elimination, only to go into the final elimination and lose to Brad, just like CT did. This was another BS technicality where Landon should have won, and Brad just ended up narrowly securing the win. This is so heartbreaking because honestly, Landon played this game with honor and integrity, and the fact that the elimination was a technicality just irks me because Landon deserved this win, and again, this is just heartbreaking. Not much more to say other than that Landon killed this season in every aspect and was robbed.
But I have the best record of performance here.
Landon, you got his ring. You gotta go.
Landon.
That's bull. You gotta go for his ring, bro. You gotta hook it to the ring, dude.
That's mine!
Yeah, you don't know the rules of the game? But there's never been a classier player on the duels.
I think the hardest thing for me right now is the fact that I felt like I was the best one here.
Moving on to number 7, we have Timmy on the Inferno 3. I think most people can agree that Timmy was just a great guy and wanted the best for everybody. Timmy came into the season on the good guys team just hoping to have fun. Timmy was a huge voice on his team for people to look up to, and he performed brilliantly. The reason this loss was heartbreaking is because Timmy volunteered to go into an elimination in the middle of the season so someone else from his team did not have to. Timmy went up against Abram in a dangerous glass breaking elimination where you pretty much have to break glass with your body. Timmy finished first and won, but one of his pieces of glass fell without shattering. It really wasn't his fault, and him losing was made even worse by the retirement speech he gave after it, and it was just gushing.
It's a great challenge, and this is my last. I love you guys. 10 years ago, I did a little show called Road Rules. Never thought that it would take me so many places and meet so many great people and hit every challenge in life you come across with the same intensity. I love all of you. It's better to play and lose than not play at all.
That's right.
At number 6, we have a person I touched on in another video, but this is Darrell from Invasion of the Champions. Darrell came into the season after a 10-season hiatus and killed it, eliminating champs Zach and Bananas along the way. Darrell looked like this season was in the bag for him, and he looked unstoppable until he ran into CT and Not So Fast. And like I mentioned in my other video, CT broke this elimination. This format was so flawed because I feel if champs had to go against underdogs in elimination, Darrell had this in the bag. Because of the flawed format and Darrell's huge loss, it was just heartbreaking.
CT has made it very difficult for me to unravel this. He did a hell of a job. The hardest part for me is going to be making that phone call home to the wifey and kids and telling my daughter that I didn't win. She's going to be disappointed in me, but I gave it my all.
Number 5 is from Total Madness and Nelson Thomas. Nelson really turned a new leaf this season and played differently than he ever has before. Nelson tried making allies, albeit with everyone.
Nelson and I had a conversation early in this game. Nelson just said the same thing to me.
Nelson has said, let's work together with.
You did tell me that you promised.
You approached me for conversation yesterday in here.
We did have a conversation.
Yeah, we did.
And was nicer and more lighthearted than he ever was before. Nelson has always been very loyal to his Young Buck alliance, and this season is no exception. Corey was on his way to one of the final eliminations, but Nelson looked out for his friend, who had a daughter and another on the way, and pretty much volunteered because he thought Corey deserved it more. If that isn't heartbreaking enough, the elimination was Hall Brawl, and we all know how good Nelson is at eliminations. Well, he went up against Rogan, who was hungry, but Nelson actually had it. He had the upper hand on both rounds, and if he just didn't focus so much on wrestling, he would have won. Nelson came out with a bloody face, and everyone having more respect for him on his very noble move.
Just put me in then. Corey has a little girl at home, man. He has another kid on his way. I'd rather give him the better shot at winning this $1 million than me.
If Nelson just lets go right now, he has a clear, short path to his belt.
You don't know how much it means to me, my family. I have no regrets at all for being down here for my brother Corey. I'll do it again and again and again.
At number 4, we have Cara Maria on Free Agents. Let me just say, I believe this is the season Cara Maria came into her own and proved what an amazing competitor she really is. Cara was never really known to be the strongest competitor, but on this season, there was nowhere to hide. So she showed out, winning 3 eliminations and 2 challenges. She even surprised herself at times. Cara was best friends with Laurel during this season, and that ended up being a bit of a hindrance to her game because it was an emotional distraction, and rightfully so. Laurel was not a good friend this season. The heartbreak factor comes in during her 3rd elimination when she was having her best season ever and beat Jessica. She unfortunately broke her hand in that elimination, but she didn't let that stop her, and she still competed with a broken hand. But the next elimination ended up being a wall punch, so what can she really do? Cara did all she could, and all of our hearts broke when she went home. Can we also not forget her elimination with Naya? It was insane.
Oh boy, this is gonna be a tough one for Cara.
I do not quit, and I will not quit. Ow! Ow! Push! No!
Number 3 is Diem from the Duel 1. I already touched on some of her story on the CT portion, but this season Diem was recovering from ovarian cancer and just wanted a break from it all. She came into this season with everyone loving her and her finding love. Diem had some touching moments this season, including the mud pool daily and her and CT's story. Diem's loss was the definition of heartbreaking. She was so close to the end, just going into the second and last elimination in the game of I Can. Can I just say how flawed this elimination was? Diem made sure she would be the lifter, and unfortunately she just couldn't do it. She tried with all of her heart and just couldn't. My heart broke, and I just have to say, rest in peace, Diem Brown.
I feel so happy and so lucky and so blessed. Are you kidding me? I got to do everything I ever wanted to do and finally feel okay with being me. And you can't put a price on that.
Number 2 is Leroy on War of the Worlds 2. Let me just start with saying, Leroy has been doing these shows for a long time. He's one of those people who always get so close but can never win. Well, this season, he came in on Team USA. He had his normal alliance with Bananas, but Bananas went home early and left Leroy by himself. What Leroy did was implement himself in with Cara Maria's team, which proved to be a smart move in the long run. Leroy was amazing politically this season and was able to fly to a final just from that. In the final, Leroy did the most work out of all the guys on his team, never taking a break. It was looking like it was Leroy's to win. Well, there ended up being a purge in the final, and it was a puzzle. A puzzle and swimming. Let's just say those aren't Leroy's strong suits. After having one of his best seasons ever, just to get purged in the middle of a final in his 11th season, my heart broke, and it was just heartbreaking to see him cry.
My fate is about to be decided on a puzzle and a swim. I worked my ass off to be this close, to work this hard, to have such a great season. This is the worst loss ever.
Lastly, for number 1 is Derek on the Gauntlet 2. Derek was on the Vets team and was the smallest guy on the team. Derek was so eager to prove himself and be taken seriously as a competitor that he went into the first elimination and overtook Adam's status as team captain. He led his team to pretty much the end. Derek was finally proving all he wanted to prove, beating guys triple his size and winning 4 eliminations. He looked unstoppable. In the last daily, unfortunately, his team lost and he had to go into his 5th elimination. Well, Timmy volunteered and it was a weight-based game. Timmy was about double the size of Derek, and honestly, it was quite unfair. Derek dug as deep as he could, but unfortunately lost. Derek gained the respect he wanted as a competitor and earned his spot as the most heartbreaking loss of all time.
Deserve to be here more than anyone else here.
Derek, there's no words.
See you guys in a bit.
So much respect for you, bro.
Do you agree with my opinions? Let me know in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed the video, and please follow me on Instagram at RookieRevolution and Twitter at RookieRevo. I post the most updates about my videos on Twitter. Links are also in the description. Please like and subscribe, and until next time, take care.